Hey, Neil, you ready to do another show for 2019?
Let's do this.
We're back. Hey, and welcome to 2019. This is Gravel. Sitting next to me today is
Neil Taylor.
And I'm Bobby Thompson. Welcome all. Hope you've had a great winter of riding. Most of us, I guess, we're kind of still in the middle of winter, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of still the middle of winter right now. I think it's going to be like, what, negative 20-degree wind chill here tomorrow?
Oh, my gosh, tomorrow.
Yeah.
But actually, we're like 20 to 30 degrees warmer than our friends up north. So we won't complain at all. Neil, what you been up to?
Running on a treadmill a lot, unfortunately, because it's been so cold and icy.
Do you still want to host this show with me?
Well, Leland did it for a while when he was running, so I figure I might as well. You know, getting ready for a land run, running the double. And
right. Real quick, what is the double?
The double for land run, you run a 50-kilometer, which is 31 miles on Friday, and then you follow it up the day after with the 100-mile gravel ride.
That just sounds dumb.
It is dumb. This will be the first and last 50K that I ever do. You know, I was training for a half marathon back in December, which went well. Had no problems with that. I ran a 15-mile run towards the end of December, and a couple days after that, I ran into a little bit of tendinitis.
Okay.
So I had to take 3 weeks off, and then is that just,
you think, from running too much too soon?
There could be a mix of things. Maybe a little bit too much too soon. Maybe a little bit of the terrain that I was running on around that time. I was running on a lot of off-balance kind of stuff, and I know a couple times I did twist my ankles here and there, and so I might have sprained the tendon at that point. Who knows what exactly caused it, but I've finally gotten back to it. Took a couple weeks off here, and so I was wanting to get back running, and we've been covered with ice and snow. So running on a treadmill is what I've been doing, and then getting out when I can, riding bikes with the high school kids. This January actually has been kind of hit or miss. The beginning of the month started off nice, and so we got out probably 4 or 5 times in those first 10 days. And then we've kind of gotten a night ride in here at one point.
Night ride?
Yeah, a group of us went out and we rode until about 7:30. So I mean, night,
Evening,
at this point,
right, but it's nighttime.
It's dark.
Right, it's dark. I got you. Okay.
So I mean, they don't get a lot of dark rides, and the fact that it was a little bit cooler was a good experience for the few of them. These are a couple of kids that are wanting to do the 100, had signed up for the 100. So I figured that would be a good mental, and physical training experience for them. And then we finally got out this past Sunday.
You had a pretty good group. 6, 7 people?
Yeah, 6 of us came out and rode bikes. And then, we had a couple others that would have been there, but they had to go out of town this weekend. So, we're having around anywhere between 8 to 10 really active kids right now. And I think as at this moment, at least, we've got 2 high school kids that are signed up for the 100 at Dirty Kansas, and then 3 that are signed up for the high school race, and I believe 2 others that will be signing up here shortly. So they're loving it, man. It's been a blast. So enough about me. What in the world have you been doing?
I've been riding my bike a lot. Indoors. I am completing the Tour de Zwift on Zwift. I don't remember how many stages there are, but yeah, I've been become a nerd and riding Zwift quite a bit. I do get outside when the weather's 60 and above, so really haven't been outside in
months. I mean, it's been a long time, buddy. It's supposed to be 60 on Sunday.
It is supposed to be 60 on Sunday. I'm gonna see how the weekend goes. No, I went down and rode Texas Chainring Massacre last weekend, and it was actually, I think, mid-50s down there and sunny, so it was really nice down there. Started off at 32, though, so I did technically ride near freezing for about half an hour.
So you can do it, is what you're saying.
I can do it. I can do it. I do not like to do it. I don't want to do it. And at my age and this point in life, if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do something just to say I can do it.
Part of the reason I haven't been out riding as much this winter, too. Why? Yeah. I mean, I know I'll be fine. I know I got enough base. But, still have gotten out at least a little bit here and there when I can. but not on the snow. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's just it's. I don't like cleaning the bike afterwards. That kind of stuff. There's just too much that goes into riding out in rotten weather. I will do it if it's for an event or if it's for a group ride or something like that. But as far as my own personal training, it's much easier to just run downstairs, hop on, get an hour and a half in, back out, and back on with the day. So that's where I'm at right now. I do see, man, there's been a fat bike surgence here in Emporia lately, and everyone's riding junk roads on fat bikes and bragging about it, and Scotty and all those boys. So I mean, props to them. And Steve Cannon, our boy Steve Cannon, shout out for finishing the
Arrowhead 135
today. Freaking awesome, yeah. So people do enjoy riding outside, just not me, but. Yes. Let's see. We're going to go straight to social media. We're curious, after this long lag, what have you guys all been up to?
Hey, thanks, Bobby and Neil. It's absolutely great to be back for another season here on Gravel Guru, and this is my favorite part, showing off some of the social media we've got in through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter in the last couple of weeks. First off, we're going to highlight one of Neil's photos, out riding with the Emporia high schoolers. Little January weather and a little sloppy gravel. Still looks like a great time getting out there with kids on bikes, Neil. Vincent in this photo from Ray from Dresden, Ohio with the Ohio Gravel Grinders. Crystal was out fat biking in Wisconsin with her dog, loving the run in the snow beside her. Awesome time out there, Crystal. Colin O'Halloran. Greetings from Ireland, he says. They have a weekly Wednesday evening spin and are normally getting 18 to 20 people out every week. How awesome, Colin. Ryan Balkenhall was out at Fat Bike Worlds along with Corey Smith in Crested Butte, Colorado this last weekend. Nicholas said they were out riding in 50-degree weather in the moist and muddy Monument, Colorado. Your words, not mine, using moist there, Nicholas. Jennifer sent in this photo riding the gravel on Saturday, cross-country skiing on Sunday. Never a dull moment in southern Ontario. Jimmy was out in the Croatan National Forest in North Carolina exploring by bike. Zach sent in this photo of the Israeli Gravel Club out on a ride in the southern region. Samantha sent in this photo last week riding the frozen gravel roads of Leavenworth County, Kansas. Tiffany sent in this photo riding in a Cancer-thon in Leavenworth, Kansas. 6 hours of riding around circles on a track around a high school football field. 58 riders, as far as you can go. In 6 hours, they raised $3,000 to help fight cancer. She said they made it 91.6 miles on their tandem. First long ride on it also. And closer to freezing temps. Great day on a bike for a great cause. Speaking of great causes, our friends down in Stillwater sent in this video of an event they're holding here in just a couple weeks in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Check it out.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. On November 8th, our friend Curto woke up at home. He didn't know where he was, didn't know what was happening. He was rushed to the hospital where they discovered a tumor the size of a golf ball in his brain. That tumor was cancerous.
If you've ever heard of Vittoria Tires, Curto should mean something to you. If you've ever been to DK or Land Run, he's probably helped you finish those races. And if you've ever ridden a group ride in Stillwater, Oklahoma, he helped put those on for years.
On Sunday, February 10th, we're doing 50-mile fundraiser gravel ride for him and a huge raffle directly after the event. We're giving away a $10,000 Moots, a $3,000 Salsa Cutthroat, a complete Chris King wheel set, and tons of other things at the raffle. Please be there. If you can't be there and you want more information, go to this link to register for the ride, donate, or buy raffle tickets.
Next up is, we're going to start the season with a little Q&A. Why not? We've all been sitting around. It's cold. We've been thinking about stuff. So let's ask some questions.
All right, Bobby. Starting off here with some questions. I know Matt put them out here on social media last night, and so we've gotten a lot of them in. So we're going to start off with this one. What's your favorite type of gravel?
Let's see, I like this question because it allows me to just briefly say that, gravel doesn't always mean gravel. And there are lots of types of back roads that we ride. So gravel can mean dirt, ice, snow. It's just riding your bike on the back roads. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. But having said that, there are particular types of roads that I really do enjoy riding.
Oh, yeah.
Different times of the year, actually. I like riding different things. But my favorite type of gravel road to ride would be, I love the super chunky, hard stuff that just beats you to tar. Your triceps get sore, your shoulders get sore, your neck gets sore. Wabaunsee County is a great place to find that type of gravel, just north of us here, about 30 miles. Maisie's the ride from Maisie's Pride.
Yep, Gravel Ride from Maisie's Pride.
There you go,
yeah.
Gravel Ride from. Look at your shirt. You got
Boom,
it.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Planned
okay,
that one out.
That one. That's around middle of May, and 120 miles this year.
That's what I hear.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know. I haven't seen the course.
It doesn't
yet,
matter. Riding up their period where it's 50 miles, 100 miles, 120. I love that kind of chunky gravel where you got to be careful on the downhills. You can't just open it up. And anything you hit could cause a rim flat. That's what I love.
Those are unpredictable roads up there. I mean, and if you had to ask me the question, I'd say pretty much the same type of roads. I mean, I down here, you know, when I started riding gravel, a lot of our, at least, Lyon County roads, not all of them, but a lot of them are pretty nice.
Right.
I would
They're
say groomed, hard-packed.
Farm roads.
Yes. You know, you might occasionally get a little bit of loose gravel here and there, but nothing too bad. But my first Maisies, I remember going up there, and this was when Ryan used to start the course in Eskridge, and we would roll right up Divide Road right at the beginning. So you're literally a mile in, and you're running into fist-sized rocks. And I'm like, what in the world did I come out here doing?
Right.
Because I had no idea. I'd never been up there before, never been on those roads. I was expecting their roads to look like our roads.
Right.
And there is a lot of different types of gravel. And it was just a blast because it reminded me a lot of riding trails because you have to be aware. You have to, on the downhills, watch out because there sometimes are washouts. Some of these roads have not been driven on by cars in years.
And if they have, then you have 8 to 10 inch deep ruts that you got to watch out for not to fall into.
And so it definitely keeps you aware, keeps you alert. So, you know, I say that, but for the sake of maybe not just addressing the same thing you said, I love just straight dirt roads too. Just a dirt road that you can sometimes just fly
the
down.
Silty dirt roads when they're dry.
little soft, you know.
Yeah.
Those are a blast to ride on, and definitely can't pass those up when we get them.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's tons of different roads. I think ironically, because we all know that I like to use aero bars, casual bars, but ironically, my favorite type of roads are the roads that you could never get away with riding those bars on. You shouldn't even have them on the bike. On the roads I particularly like to ride. I don't know if I would do 100 miles of those type of roads. I mean, that would be exceptionally
I say Maisie's is always one of the toughest races. I mean, for 100 miles, those roads up there just kill you. And it took me until my third try to complete 100 miles up there. Yeah. I mean, because the first 2 times I went up there, it just beat me to death.
Yeah. Well, part of it is you can't gain speed. You can't consistently roll at a good speed.
No, the downhills, you have to take kind of a little bit on the brake. If you aren't taking it on the brake, you don't know what's ahead of you, and it can get nasty quick.
Right. Love the rough stuff, apparently. Number 2, I never seem to use my jersey pockets. But I see others stuff them full. Thoughts? Are you a jersey pocket guy?
Yes and no. I like it for my phone, for instance. I want quick access, you know, taking pictures, other things of that nature. So I always want to have the phone back there. So usually that is on my right side. The other 2 are either trash pockets, where I'll just stuff, you know, a wrapper or something like that in. Or maybe if I'm going out, you know, on a group ride, I'll throw my keys into. But I don't use them nearly as much as when I first started riding, and I thought I needed to bring 6 spare tubes with me and 14 CO2s
so you used to stuff
and a bunch
full.
of other stuff. Yeah, I bring everything that I possibly owned with me.
Yeah.
You know, now it's phone, keys, maybe trash.
Right.
And that's about it. I don't know. What about you, Bobby?
I honestly don't even consider my jersey pockets. I don't even think about them being there. I never use them at all. I might stick some trash in the back of those things, but no, I mean, there's too many awesome bags out there you can buy for your bike. And if putting a bag on my bike rather than sticking a piece of gel in my jersey keeps me off the podium, I mean, maybe I'll make a decision at that point in time. But no, I can't stand trying to find stuff back there. And when you're exhausted from riding all day long, everything's right here in front of me.
Yeah.
So, no, not a jersey pocket guy. In fact, maybe I'll just wear T-shirts this year.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Hey, there we go.
All right, question number 3. Well, might know your answer on this one. We'll see. Are dedicated winter boots worth the cost or pullover shoe covers? Have you been outside again this winter?
Okay, so no wait, I can actually intelligently answer this question because of the fact that I hate cold so much. 3/4 of my cycling gear is cold weather gear because I have tried everything to be warm outside. And I will say this. Dedicated winter boots are completely dependent on where you ride the majority of your winter, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you ask a fat biker from up in Minnesota, he's just going to laugh at you and call us an idiot for even asking us this question. If you live down in Florida during the winter, I mean, this doesn't even pop up. Where we live, where it can dip into around zero every once in a while, but we get a lot of 32s and 20s, correct? Yes. Mm-hmm. And we get a lot of high wind.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. I love winter boots. I have a pair of Ragnaroks that I just wore down in Texas from 45 North, and the other ones are slipping my mind right now. The heavier step up from the Ragnaroks. I've had those for Japanthers. I've had those for two or 3 years and absolutely love them. So, yes, I think they're worth the investment. You're not going to use them. Maybe I don't use them maybe 10 times a year, but they're absolutely worth the investment.
I started off doing shoe covers. Mm-hmm. From the get-go, I hated them, just simply getting them on. Mm-hmm. They had a zipper in the back, and, you get mud, a lot of junk in the winter months when you're dealing with the thawing. And so they were always just a hassle. And then when you wear them once and you have to hike a bike a little bit, just tears them apart. Yeah. And so, I wore them until they were basically shredded to pieces. And then this past winter in 2018, I went ahead and got myself some Japanthers, mm-hmm. and I love them. I don't know why. I know that you're talking about initial investment of maybe $300 or $250 mm-hmm. or maybe even $200 if you go a step lower versus spending $60. Mm-hmm. But these will last me the rest of my cycling life, more than likely. Right. Whereas a pair of shoe covers are going to maybe last me 2 winters, maybe 3 if I don't get off the bike at any point and walk around in them. Right. And so if I'm having to do that every couple of years, and I like riding outside in the winter. Mm-hmm. I usually get a lot of miles in some of these colder months, and I don't see why not. If it's what you're wanting to do and riding in that kind of conditions where it's 30 degrees outside, absolutely.
Right. If they're in the budget, definitely go for it.
Absolutely.
So absolutely. If not, shoe covers can be a great alternative.
Yeah, no, they are a good alternative. Yeah. They will keep your feet warm, no doubt. But if you can afford to get the shoes, get the shoes.
Get the shoes.
Yeah.
Cool. My question?
Your question.
DK training plan. We live in Emporia.
Never heard of. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, DK training plan! ! Mileage buildup! ! How do you do this safely, and how much is too much? Can I start with the safely aspect?
Yeah. Explain to me that.
Okay. I'm not going to address the safety part because I can tell you and help you finish the DK, but I think that it's very apparent after, especially last year, that I might not be the best person to tell you how to safely finish the DK after spending all night in the ER after I finished it. I tend to go way overboard when I'm pushing myself on a bigger ride. But training part of it, what would you recommend for training for the DK? Does it say it just says DK?
Yeah, just dirty cans of train plans.
Let's assume 100 or 200.
At least me, at the point I'm at now, it's all about just learning to build your miles up. Yeah. Month to month, week to week, whatever it might be, just getting yourself more and more out there. And so maybe right now it's January, it's cold, you can't get out as much. Maybe you get on the trainer, but at least be on your bike. If you're doing the 100, be on that bike 2 to 3 times a week. If you're doing the 200, be on that bike 3 to 5 times a week, putting in the time and energy. Once you get to the months where you can get out for a longer ride, where you can maybe spend 7, 8, 9 hours a day, on the bike, get out there and stretch your legs. Yeah. Make sure that you can go that distance, and maybe throw in a solo century just by yourself sometime. And when you want to talk about mental training, riding by yourself for 100 miles where you're not seeing another rider, where there's no one else out there,
right?
Maybe where you have to rely on just stopping at a convenience store that you've mapped along the way. That's tough to do. And so work yourself up to things like that. How much is too much? Again, like you, I'm not a good safety person. I just know, listen to your body. If your body's telling you to slow down, slow down.
Right.
Don't push it to the point that you're going to injure yourself. Like I say, doing that with land run training for the running, just bringing it back. And
that's true.
Got to do what I got to do. And if you hurt yourself trying to train for 100 or 200 miles, you're going to put yourself behind pretty quick.
Right. Then you end up going backwards. I've trained, when I first started riding bike, the whole point of me riding the bike was training for the DK 200 because we didn't have the DK 100 option the first year that I started riding. So it was just training for the DK 200. And I can say that, you know, for that first year, I maybe got in 60, 65 miles a week during a heavy week. I mean, I'd ride, you know, a 20-mile group ride and then go out on the weekend and ride maybe a 40 or 60, but it was not every other weekend. And I can tell you that it was a very hard, dirty Kansas. I finished around 2 a.m. and the weather was pretty nice, and it hurt to finish that long.
And to that point, you can do Dirty Kansas 200 on 60 miles a week training if that's what you can fit in, but it's going to be a really long day.
It's going to be a long day. So the counterpoint I was going to make to that is I do not think that's the best way to train for the Dirty Kansas 200. Definitely, you want to enjoy the day as much as possible. There are going to be periods of the day where you are going to mentally hurt, and there are going to be periods of the day where you are going to physically hurt. That is just part of being on the bike and being under that stress for that long of a time period. So you want to do what you can to ease that as much as you can. And I would say, you know, if you can do a couple of 50s and some 70s, when I say couple, on the weekends, you're hitting the 50s and the 70s. Right? Leading up to it, do a couple of events to get used to riding in a large group, and get used to being dropped, because you're going to be dropped and you have to mentally be okay with being dropped. Those are some things that you can do to train for the DK 200. The food and the water aspect, you're going to have to come up with the best way to do that for yourself. I'm horrible at that. I can talk to you offline about tons of different ways I have failed at that, and some things that have worked for me. But that's different type of training that, you know, I don't have this, I'm not an expert in. So I will say that helping break down a big ride helps me finish the ride. So if it's a DK 200, you know there are going to be 3 checkpoints. It's actually just a race to each checkpoint. Yeah. So that's why I think doing the 50s and the 70s, because the checkpoints are usually 50 to 60s, doing the 50s and the 70s help you mentally ride checkpoint to checkpoint to checkpoint, and by the time you get to the last checkpoint, you're just coming home. You're going to get home after you leave that checkpoint. So did I jump on a soapbox there?
No.
Okay.
You're good. Okay. Yeah. All right. So the last question we got here for our show this day is, what is the hardest part about learning how to use clips?
Pedals.
Yeah.
I mean, hair clips. What kind of clip? Okay, pedals.
I'm just reading the question, brother. Clipping pedals.
What is the hardest part about learning how to use clips? You know, a good friend of mine told me, good friend of the show, told us that the hardest part about learning how to use clips is
pavement.
The pavement.
Yeah.
It really hurts. That's the hardest part.
Reality is you're going to fall over. Reality is you're going to fall over. I'm guilty. Fallen over. I've been on numerous group rides where people have had their clips for the first time and clipped in and tried to get going, or we rolled up to a stoplight and had to stop, and they unclipped the wrong foot or could not get the foot unclipped, and all of a sudden you just see gadunk, and of course they're red-faced and embarrassed, and we're all laughing because we've all been there before.
Yeah.
You know, just practice when you get them clipping in and out. Maybe even go on a ride by yourself without a group. You know, and try it, but you're going to still fall at some point. I mean, I think the first time I fell was after maybe 5-6 months of having them, and then I rolled up and I unclipped the wrong foot, and I had to lean way over to try to get that foot down and didn't make it, and dunk, fell over.
I would say, and I do have my good falling down story is that I had gone out, it's when maybe my first year of riding, so 7 or 8 years ago. I'd gone out, and I don't remember how long the ride was, but I was very proud of myself. I had done this long ride. And I came riding back in Emporia, and I rode down the alley. I'm exhausted. I'm excited, though, because I accomplished this long ride. Tim Moan is standing outside the back of his store. He was running Flint Hills Music that time. He just happened to be walking out back. We made the eye contact thing, you know, as I'm rolling down the alley. I'm looking at him. I forget to clip out, and I just fall over. And he just... what the heck just happened? And of course he laughed. But so that's my favorite story. But I will say that as far as the hardest part about learning clips, it took me a long time to be able to quickly clip in. To getting that spot on the bottom of the foot where you could clip in. And a lot of group rides, I was intimidated because the group would take off.
Yeah.
And here I am trying to clip into the bike, and they're already down the road, especially if they were to stop on a slight incline where I had to clip in and start pedaling right away. Until I kind of learned how to start off with my heel and not slide off the platform, but pedal with my heel until we got going. And it actually took a while for me to learn how to clip in. So it's definitely a technique.
Like anything else, practice it.
Practice.
You'll be fine.
Okay, that is all the questions we have for today. I hope that you send us a lot more. We really do enjoy doing a Q&A session. I like to do it, every 2 or 3 times. But send us some more questions if you got it. Let us know if you disagree with anything we said. We like to argue with people too. Neil, anything to say to wrap up? What do you got?
Just looking forward to this year, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this year. Looking forward to the shows. I know we got a lot of different things coming up this year to look forward to. I know Matt's still doing some of the podcasts as well, and so he's got those. You've started doing some. Who knows what I'll be doing? I mean, besides running and other dumb things. But I'm looking forward to what 2019 holds.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Everybody, thanks for listening, and make sure and pay attention for the next episode. Bye.